I wonder, as you talk all about the market and where it's at, does it surprise you that we're back to record highs for the S&P 500 in such a short time, and that it's those cyclical, economically sensitive sectors that have led the way higher?
I guess it does a little bit, Dom, but like I say, I think the next batch of earnings will be really telling. For instance, Tesla. Tesla was one of those stocks that they actually deliver a product, just like Apple is about to on, what, the 27th of October. They're going to be coming out with their earnings. And these guys deliver products rather than something that is ethereal, like you were just talking about, for instance, the social media stocks and how they track you. That's a different sort of business model, if you will, Dom, than the people that actually sell you things. But the good news is that people that sell you things, and I keep saying this, that come in boxes, except for Tesla, of course, that'd be a big box. The people that sell you things, we're seeing a lot of interest in those consumer discretionary names, Dom, and that is one of the things that I think keeps driving the markets higher, is that the consumer just is willing to spend. And even though inflation has picked up dramatically, the consumer, at least so far, is continuing to put that cash out there.
John, where do you think that confidence from the consumer is coming from? And then by relation, where is the confidence from investors in that consumer coming from? Ultimately, why is the consumer going to still be the driving force behind this next leg higher, perhaps, in the market?
Well, all the usual suspects, Dom. Pent-up demand, more cash than they've had. They've paid down debt and so forth. So I think the consumer is the one out there spending, whereas big business has been borrowing at a pretty frenzied pace, and borrowing as they should because the cash is so cheap. But the consumer, that's something that, they can actually go out and do more things now. The TSA data confirms that people are flying, certainly in big numbers. It's not the business travelers. It's, I don't see a lot of people wearing suits that are getting on the plane right now, Dom. It's a lot of people with pillows around their necks and so forth. So that's a recreational flyer, not a business flyer. We'll look forward to seeing those business travelers get back out there. But from what we've heard, that may be a year or more before we start seeing that. But consumer discretionary, definitely a hot sector. I've got some stocks for you that we've seen flying in the last few days.
So what I was about to ask you, what stocks are they? I mean, when we talk about consumer discretionary, it's perhaps people think right away, maybe Amazon, I guess, is the best way to do it right now, given what's been happening. Is it just Amazon and then everybody else? I mean, I leave out Walmart only because I worry sometimes, because technically speaking, it's a consumer staples company, even though it's the biggest retailer out there, bricks and mortar wise. But then how do you play that consumer trade? Is it just Amazon, or do we look for smaller players out there to maybe play catch up in terms of valuation?
Well, I've got QSRs, I've got, quick serve restaurants like McDonald's. Big upside call buying in McDonald's. I'm looking here at the machine. We've got earnings are due out the 27th also in McDonald's, and they've continued to bet on upside in McDonald's, and it's been climbing from the 230s up into the 240s and so forth. And a lot of the bets are that they will beat going into those earnings. Tesla, that stock made that pretty dramatic reversal after selling off, Dom, on the earnings announcement, and then zip right to the upside. And now they're buying a ton of calls at the November 900 strike. So certainly a pretty big bet there. And that's, I guess, not exactly a discretionary, but definitely one of those things that consumers have just had almost insatiable demand for that kind of car. And just as you started off with Amazon, we've had, an 8% move in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks out of Amazon. They continue to buy upside calls that expire at the 3,500 strike right now. So yeah, all three of those stocks seeing a lot of pent-up demand and moving from the lower left to the upper right on the charts.